Overview and Setup. In this video, we're going to take a first look at our starter files. We'll discuss how to use npm, Bower, and MongoDB, and then I'll show you how to launch our app and log in. Included in your files will be the starter template. You can also find the files in this GitHub repo. The first thing to do, if you haven't already done so, is install MongoDB. You can do this by going to the MongoDB website and downloading the correct version for your system. So after you've set up MongoDB locally on your system, we can take a look at the starter app that we'll be using. And the app that we'll be using is based off the Angular Full Stack Generator by Daftmonk. You can find out more about this generator by going here. So in this app, I pretty much just stripped out the authorization part of the Daftmonk generator and working from there. Your starter files will look like this. And one of the things that I really like about this generator is the out-of-the-box folder structure, which follows the feature pattern of development. So for example, in our server API user folder, we'll find everything that has to do with users. And the same goes for the client side as well. So if we look in client app main, you can see everything that has to do with our main route is located in this one folder. If anything is missing, you can always navigate to the root folder and type the command npm install or Bower install. So you would open up your command prompt, navigate to the root of your folder, and you would type npm install or Bower install. And this will download all the dependencies into the folders that we just covered. To give you an idea of what our Angular files look like, let's open up our client app main controller file. I like to follow the John Papa style guide for structuring my AngularJS files. And the only real deviation is that I prefer to use the $scope instead of assigning a variable to this. So John Papa likes to say var this equals VM, and then instead of saying scope.user, we could say vm.user. The only downside is that you now have to preface everything in your HTML file with VM instead of it just being assumed. So I prefer scope. And you can feel free to read more about John Papa's style guide, which is very heavily starred right here. In order to launch the app, you need to first make sure that you have MongoDB running, and you can do this by opening up another terminal command and typing mongod. So now in one terminal I'll have MongoDB running, and in another terminal is where I can start my server. And we can start our server by first making sure that we're looking for our app.js file in the right folder. So we need to navigate into our server folder. So now I'm in my server folder, and I can start our app by running node app. Okay, now I know that my app is ready to launch because it says Express Server listening on port 9000. And once I run my app on localhost 9000, I get redirected to a login screen. And now would be a great time to sign up with a new account that you can use for the rest of this course. In the following videos, I will be using NodeMon, which will automatically restart the server anytime any of our backend files have changed. So in order for us to use NodeMon, this must be installed as a global dependency. So in order to be able to use NodeMon, you would say npm install -g for global, then NodeMon. In the next video, we'll integrate a Gravatar image to replace the name that gets displayed after we log in. And this will be a great opportunity for us to get more familiar with our starter code and our folder structure.